Hi, I'm Susan Finch here for SLMA Radio at slmaradio.com, and I have some guests here for a very important discussion, at least to me it is, and I think it is to these gentlemen too. We have Greg Cooper, who is a LinkedIn coach. He is actually the LinkedIn coach, and I have Randy Milovic, right? I said that right?
Milanovic, close enough.
Sorry. CEO of Kayak Marketing, and we have Muamer, who is visiting us from Croatia, and what's the name of your agency?
Iconis Agency.
Iconis Agency. All right, so LinkedIn is important to all of us. I know that for sure, and particularly important to these three gentlemen. And so when Randy did a post recently about the effect of how this recent purchase by Microsoft of LinkedIn is going to affect some of us, especially the power users, I thought it was time to have a discussion. And so I bring in two of my heavy hitters that I know on LinkedIn. And so between the four of us, I wanted to have this discussion, and part of it's speculation, but with that recent document you shared, this is as of August 16th, 2016, there was a document that you shared with us, Greg. It was it the Microsoft LinkedIn Vision document, I would call it. Mm-hmm. So let's just dive right in.
Sure. So, I mean, I think it's interesting. My take on this is that this is a good move for both. It's a good deal for both companies, and I think it's a good deal for the users ultimately too. My interpretation is that LinkedIn had stalled. They were tinkering around the edges. They weren't really moving forward. The share price crashed because they weren't reaching the revenue targets, and they didn't know where to go. Microsoft similarly, we've had some problems, as Randy mentioned in his article. Things aren't going great there, but then they've got $63 billion in the bank account, so they can afford to have a few mistakes. But what I thought was interesting is that apparently nothing emerged in the press about any talks. So that suggests that actually LinkedIn approached Microsoft and other potential vendors.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Randy, what's your take?
Honestly, my thought is I use LinkedIn. I quite like LinkedIn. I've been critical of some of the things they've done lately that have seemed to hamper engagement opportunities. But overall, I honestly thought they were too large to be bought out. I thought they were a power player, and I thought they'd be doing the buying. So that was a surprise to me. And quite honestly, we're a Mac shop here, and so by design, I don't use Microsoft products. And as soon as I heard that, I went, uh-oh, what's going to happen now? Am I going to be forced to use Office when I'm used to using Mac software? Am I going to be subject to all the viruses and everything else that happen in that world? Because it's certainly not something I'm looking forward to. So I'm really interested in what they mean by monetizing the platform and what that actually means.
Muamer, what about you?
Well, I don't know. I'm just looking at the track record Microsoft has when it comes to acquisitions, So I'm not really buying it. I'm just thinking that maybe they'll just go the road of Nokia and things like that. I mean, they're not really equipped to lead a social media platform. So when it comes to bringing in new talent or managing the existing ones, I don't think they'll do a good job. So I'm guessing we'll have around a year or 2 years maybe of good leadership or them not touching the whole concept, but I think they're going to mess it up. I'm sure they will. I don't think.
Yeah, Greg, I think you're in the minority here in this group.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm getting stuck.
We got three of us that are panicking, going, "What the heck are they going to do?"
I abandoned Outlook and some of the other Microsoft products years ago. I'm still PC, and I'm comfortable there. But I've incorporated so much the Google sphere into my life and some other alternatives to Microsoft that I rely on more, that I don't feel like I'm being scammed at, plagued with, as you were saying, bugs and things. This makes me nervous because everything I saw in that vision document hinged on you're adopting their products and drinking the Kool-Aid. And if you don't get any of the goodies.
Yeah, I saw it too. There was a is it Nadella? Is that fellow's name?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying I thought I saw it on it was BGR.com. It was Nadella's memo to his team, I guess, just before they announced, where he talked about reinventing selling, marketing, and talent management. And so all sorts of bells went off, and I went, okay, that's kind of interesting. Does that mean they're going to help us, or are they going to interrupt us? And I don't know about anybody else, but when it comes to talent and recruitment, that's one of the parts of LinkedIn that I don't like. And to be honest with you, I don't connect with anybody, and I block recruiters. I just find they're rather annoying as a whole. I hope that's not the truth for everybody, but I hope that that doesn't mean that recruitment and headhunting and stuff like that comes into our office applications or whatnot, or as we're doing our documents. I know he was saying something about being able to work on a document and having a prompt come up and say, here's somebody that can help you with this topic. That was interesting too, thinking, okay, is Microsoft going to start reading our documents that we're composing on our own computers? It's just, where's the line on these things? And so these things have got my attention for sure.
I think that's quite an interesting concept, sorry, Susan, that I read about was this idea that Microsoft were talking about the unified profile. They're saying that, with the professional at the moment, you've got documents here, documents there, you want to do some stuff in different, your information and data is scattered across different platforms. And their idea seems to be that could use LinkedIn as the front end and one way into that and bring together all the information for that individual into one place.
But what platform? Which platforms are they saying are integrating? Because I didn't see any of mine in the list.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see where this will go.
Yeah.
I know that Zara Altair left a comment on my blog where she said that her son had been through 3 or 4 acquisitions by Microsoft, and she said in every one of those instances, about 6 months in, everything was fine until about 6 months in, and then they started doing changes that were actually pretty significant. And really changed culture, changed the usability of those of what they acquired, to the point where they were no longer recognizable. And perhaps it's just crying a bit of wolf here, but to me it just seems like a big business company coming into a social atmosphere. Just seems like a bit of a mismatch. I guess I have to recognize too that LinkedIn, I guess, originally was a recruiting platform. I think it's evolved significantly since then, but perhaps Microsoft's goal is to kind of take it back there.
I agree with Randy on that the culture is key in these acquisitions and mergers. If the culture meshes, then the acquisition can be successful. If it really doesn't mesh, then that's worrying.
It's never going to match because that's Microsoft and that's Apple. Apple acquired Beats Audio, and that's not a culture they're a part of. And in a couple of years, we'll see that go down the drain as well. I'm sure of it. And Microsoft is, they're developers, they're managers, they're business folk, right? Social media requires different kind of people to run it. If I look at a culture like a startup or let's say I look at the culture of LinkedIn, right? You have a couple of guys, they started all, and they know what the vision is, and they're enjoying their time there, right? So all of a sudden, if somebody brought me in LinkedIn and told me, hey, guy, I want you to work for us, and I fall in love with the brand, right? So I'm working at LinkedIn, I'm really proud of it, and all of a sudden one day, they get acquired by Microsoft. So all of a sudden my boss was a really good friend of mine, says, listen, things have changed. Then all of a sudden I have pressure from the top and, our relationship starts to change. All of a sudden my boss who brought me in leaves. A couple other guys leave as well. So I'm left there with a really strange new company running all this, everything we're working on. And then I decide to leave. And then, all of a sudden you have nobody that started a business. And that's how it usually goes with startups. I don't want Suits to run my startup, especially if it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a business platform, but it's still a social media platform. So Microsoft is a Suit. It always will be, no matter the new rebranding and new cool look that their CEO is doing. And the other guy, what's his name? The one that's running Android right now. Can't remember his name. But they're all cool. They're all hip. That's what branding does do. But behind that screen, you got investors, you get board, you get suits, you get ties. So I'm not excited about that one bit.
No, I'm not seeing this as going in any direction that any of us have been enjoying with LinkedIn. Because I will say over the last couple of years, the one thing that they have done right is switching more to a content platform, because it's been a great gathering place for fantastic writers that have insights that I would have never been exposed to before, because I don't have the time to go around and visit everybody's websites. I just don't. Northern.
Yeah, I agree totally. I love the fact that it went content direction. I love Pulse. I've seen recently that the appearance for the presentation also has been diminished, and they've gone through some modifications lately where we saw probably 3 or 4 months where opportunities to engage dropped. Then when they brought out the new app in December, things improved because you could actually go in and respond to comments in the app. Before, you could only comment, you couldn't respond. More recently, they added the ability to like and comment and respond within the comment thread. However, they've moved the buttons to comment and like and stuff away from the actual article. So you actually have them on separate screens. So there's some weird things going on there, but at least they're adding them back in, and they're starting to suggest things like that, hey, you should like this, or you should comment on this. So at least there's some steps in the right direction there. And I think, honestly, LinkedIn is a fantastic platform, and I'm kind of worried for it. I don't want it to go away. I don't
either. We've watched platforms that we enjoy that had a lot going right change, and it makes us sad. So when you find one that, I've been with LinkedIn, what is it, like 20 years we've been with it? Since, at least from whenever they launched, I've been there. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to take a quick break, but we're going to come back and talk about, when we come back, from the break, we're going to talk about everything that we would like to suggest to Microsoft before they botch up our beloved LinkedIn. So let's take a quick break. This is Susan Finch. I'm with SLMA Radio. You can listen to us live on Thursdays at slmaradio.com and just click on Listen Live.
Whether you're producing a seminar series, users conference, lunch and learn, or exhibiting at a trade show, Validar has a solution. From capturing leads at trade shows to managing on-site registration, tracking session attendance, gathering information, and providing sponsors lead retrieval, we have a full suite of solutions for you. Since 2005, Validar has been turning corporate events and trade shows into better business. Call 888-784-2929 or visit us at validar.com.
You are under the gun to generate revenue. You need your pipeline full with real deals to make your number.
The Vanilla Group is the only firm that delivers tele-based lead generation programs exclusively for enterprise technology providers that get you there.
The Vanilla Group achieves results 5 times higher than industry standards for outbound lead generation year after year.
By utilizing the unique Telesales 2.0 methodology, they make sure you're in front of the key influencers you need to be. They are an award-winning company and results are unsurpassed. The Vanilla Group supports tech firms from Fortune 500 companies to startups. To learn more, visit vanillagroup.com, spelled VANELLA group.com, or call 888-335-0340. That's 888-335-0340. Follow us on Twitter at Vanilla Group.
Hi, Susan Finch here with SLMA Radio, back with my panelists today, Greg Cooper, LinkedIn coach, Randy Milanovic of Kayak Marketing, and Muammar Mujovic of Iconis Agency in Croatia. Welcome back, guys, and let's continue this conversation.
Oh, yeah, you can go with that.
Oh, gosh. But we're talking about LinkedIn and Microsoft's impending doom upon our beloved social network for business.
But we don't all think it's going to be doomed.
I know we don't all think it's going to be doomed. Greg doesn't think it's doomed. He has a lot of good parts to it. But as power users on LinkedIn and as people that rely on LinkedIn as a business social network, which is so unique from every other platform out there, if you could give Microsoft 2 pieces of advice on this transition, let's start with Greg. What would you say?
Well, I would say get customer feedback. Listen to what customers want, because I think that's one thing that LinkedIn has spectacularly failed at doing for the last 5 years. And they've introduced lots of sort of innovations that have taken the product backwards in many ways. So first thing would be to listen to the customer feedback. And I think the second thing would be to fix the things that don't work. These guys at Microsoft, the developers, Christ's sake, the search engine doesn't always work properly. There's a ton of features that aren't working properly. Get them fixed.
And where do you have a list for them?
I do have some search engine glitches. There's a whole design issue around the connection feature. Sometimes you can connect really easily. Sometimes you can't connect. The different routes for connection which are incompatible. I think groups have died. I think really there needs to be something done with groups. And the company page is a completely wasted opportunity.
Oh yeah.
It really had no investment.
I think what had happened is with all of our aggregators and auto posting things, every group became tainted with auto postings and auto shares and everything else that really weren't engagement. And I think that's what killed groups.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was referring to earlier too about all the platforms is overall I haven't seen anybody really doing a great job at improving engagement opportunities. I hate to say it, but actually one has, and that is Facebook, in the fact that they have improved your personal connections mentions in your stream, but still that's a small one. We take a look at historical how their algorithm works for showing you your who you're following and whatnot. I've seen some pretty dramatic decreases in engagement and views and things like that, to a point where I actually reached out to LinkedIn support on more than one occasion. I asked them, are you throttling views and engagement the way that Facebook did? And they flatly denied they were doing that. I took a look at that, and I looked at my numbers, and I saw that I was getting more and more followers, both followers from my posts and followers or connections to me was steadily increasing over time. Yet the engagement and views that I was seeing in the analytics were dropping considerably. There was at one point about a couple months ago, I posted an article about how the engagement was dropping, and I mapped it from a high of posts, a high of engagement that I had, where I had about 50,000 views and thousands of engagements on one post, right down to more recent. I could just see it flatlining, and you could almost pinpoint where the time where that changed. And that was actually about November of last fall. I saw that. Now, so I would say to LinkedIn, let's get the engagement up, not down. Let's forget this, whatever this algorithm is that they're using to customize the streams, and actually let people see the stuff that they're following.
Right. I mean, that is one thing that I have to say I like about Instagram. It's a simple platform, but if you're following somebody and they posted, you see it.
Yeah, there's only one thing now. They just changed and they stopped the chronological order, which is kind of throwing things off a bit.
Oh, great.
I think Twitter did that too, and there was a bit of a backlash on that. But so far, I have
comment on Randy's earlier comment was that I think recently there have been a number of small improvements to the platform that have really helped, and it seems to be moving in a good direction. Previously, there'd been, in the last 12 months, there've been a ton of changes to the platform which weren't improvements. So I'm quite encouraged by the more recent improvements, which have been small but definitely positive.
Muammar, what would you ask for if you could say, hey, Microsoft?
First of all, I'll ask them to not mess with the platform. That's one. Let's actually, you know what? Maybe they should mess with the platform, because the leadership at LinkedIn is really messing up the platform as it is. So, to hell with that. I think what I want from LinkedIn is something that they'll probably never give us, and that's just certain things that are really making the business communication helpful to the user? Because I talk to a lot of my friends in business who are really active on LinkedIn in Europe, from Germany, Spain, Sweden, and things like that. I'm pretty well connected with those people, and I'm really good friends with some. And what they tell me is that, you know what, during the day, I don't have time to go to LinkedIn that much. But when I do go to LinkedIn, it's mostly during my work hours, because it's business, right? And when I go there, I want help with my business. For example, I like to get into some groups and talk about certain issues, or ask a question, or get an answer, or follow people who are really smart and can help me out. So I want to read their content, right? And that's usually 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's usually what they tell me. So when I go to LinkedIn nowadays, I see a lot of posts, quote unquote, or likes from people I follow who I think are really smart, but they liked a post from a woman who shared a quote on how her day is starting and how she should be more motivated about some crap. And I'm seeing more and more of that motivational stuff happening in my feed, and I just stop using it. I'm still getting leads on LinkedIn.
Move that to Pinterest. Move that to Instagram.
What the hell is this? Some pathetic stories about, I don't know. But helpfulness in LinkedIn has dropped significantly, and LinkedIn should really work on connecting business people, but they haven't figured that stuff out at all. They lost touch with that, and what they're left us with is a platform that we have to adjust to and make a really strong effort to connect with other people, and weed through all this spammy content that's happening over there. One thing that really bothers me, I have to say it, since I won't have another opportunity to say it, is what the hell is with the update of my profile photo? Everybody has to see that every time I update my profile photo. Like, your activity is your profile photo. So everybody has to see that so they can like it. What the hell is that?
So they can recognize you in case you've changed dramatically, shaved off your beard, and all of a sudden,
you know what? I change my photo like every few minutes because I'm not happy with it. So,
Well, but also, though, we all use it as a vehicle. If nobody's looked at our stuff for a while.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The photo, there you go. There's the cheapy way to do it without a lot.
You know what's actually interesting is Eli Fennell out in Google Plus pointed out a couple months ago. He said, if you're in Facebook and you change your profile photo, Facebook automatically puts it at the top of your feed for all of your connections. So it's actually a bit of a hack.
Yep.
So if you want to get some attention, your profile photo. Yep. And boom, you'll get a bunch of new engagement.
And that's the other thing.
It's working everywhere.
Right. And when you do that, though, don't forget to put all the information inside the photo for the description. Because there's your opportunity. There's your billboard.
That's what's necessary. That's what's really necessary for Facebook. I mean, I'm connected there with my friends. They want to see my new profile photo, especially if it's a good one, if it's something that's really about me, right? But my business connections, they have to see me change my photos and adjust it and be all nerdy and shit.
Okay, LinkedIn. So you and Microsoft are on notice from all four of us. We've told you what we like, we told you what we don't like, and what we're nervous about, because we don't want you botching it up.
Yep.
So you guys, we're going to share this out. We're going live on Thursday with this recording, via MP3, and I'll have all the information for you guys. But hey, check out our past episodes at slmaradio.com. I'm Susan Finch. I've been your host today, and I will have connections in the post for all three of these guys so you can follow their really smart, big brain content that they post everywhere, especially on LinkedIn. And that's what got me hooked on them all in the first place, especially my two Google Plus buddies, Greg Cooper and Randy Milanovic. You guys are just rock stars, and I respect you very much. And I was so happy to meet you today, Muammar. And your opinions matter, too, because you brought in that worldview to us as well. Greg, your worldview it's just like north of us. It's not that far. So, thank you. See you guys on Thursdays at 10:30 on slmaradio.com.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
It's good to chat with you. Cheers.